Mohsin Hamid's The Last White Man, Summary and Analysis of Chapter 1. Summary of Chapter 1. One morning, Anders woke up and found himself as a brown-colored man changed from a white man. He didn't believe at first. It might be the effect of early sunlight, or it might be a daydream. But the reversed camera of his mobile phone reassured that the man looking back at him was not a white Anders but brown. An unexpected and undeniable overnight change filled him with murderous rage. He wanted to kill the colored man but couldn't do it. His fury is followed by trembling, which led him to go to bed back. He wanted to seize the day. Moreover, he was haunted by the thought that he had been robbed. Someone has taken him from him. Time and again, he tried to calm himself down, but discomfort prevailed. He liked to be alone. That time he was alone but felt being in bad company, trapped and helpless. Additionally, he checked his penis in size and in heft, but it wasn't his, therefore abhorred it. However, he texted his boss that he was sick. On the second day, he did the same, but his boss called him to turn up. He didn't turn up. He wouldn't be paid until he worked. Now, he didn't want to meet people, but he ran out of food, which compelled him to see at least the clerk at the grocery store. So, at the grocery store, the clerk didn't recognize him. The clerk neither even bothered about Anders' name and signature on the credit card, nor did he hear Anders' mumbled greeting. On his way back to house, he further searched for the tiny bit of whiteness in him in the rear view mirror in his car. But to his disappointment and paranoia, the more he looked at the rear view mirror, the less white he seemed. In the meantime, a woman overtook him with coarse and abusive language. But he was perplexed enough regarding how and what kind of reaction would be or could be given to her. To vitiate his anxiety, temporarily he smoked a lot. Now he did lunch and his dinner. If Anders wanted to talk to anybody, it would be his mother. But she was departed some years ago. His mother died due to cancer. He had the smile inherited from her, now missing. Analysis of Chapter 1. Introduction. Mohsin Hamid's The Last White Man is an incredible representation of the significances as well as the insignificances of color. This time, he has come up with a new narrative by putting a white man experiencing an overnight color change. Since this is an analysis of Chapter 1, it will be quite sweeping to generalize the theme. I will only focus on what happens in the chapter. However, it will not be an exaggeration to say that the role played by Anders as a brown man is interesting new. Nevertheless, a thought-provoking question is that what will be the story and plot if instead of white man, change to brown man. A brown man wakes up with overnight change to a white color. Will he be paranoid, furious, frustrated, panic, and a terrible victim of anxiety? If yes, then why? If no, then a big why. Based on post-colonialism, particularly Edward Said's Orientalism, the West defines themselves as honest, moral, sophisticated, civilized, straightforward, good and upright, while the East is considered as the opposite of West, means dishonest, immoral, bad, unsophisticated, uncivilized and savages. Now, Anders was a product of the Western culture. This is really shocking for him to be a brown man. His complexion would simply mean he is from East, which is despicable for the West. He is not us but other. Now, he is unhomed. To be unhomed is to feel not at home even in your home because you are not at home in yourself. Your cultural identity crisis has made you a psychological refugee, so to speak. Therefore, Anders goes into depression, becomes a pathetic victim of anxiety and guilty feelings of otherness. In the very first chapter, all the defining characteristics of Orientalism are highlighted by Anders. He is more than angry, therefore he wants to kill the brown Anders, but he couldn't. That sense of otherness is now an inseparable part of him. It is not only a part, but the whole body is now him. He is furious with his demonic other. Moreover, he considers himself as bad, uncivilized and unsophisticated. Therefore, he hesitates how he would or could react to that angry woman who overtakes him. He has the self-loathing feelings of discrimination and subjugation. He involves himself in irregular activities like over-smoking and having lunch and dinner. Now, criticism on the novel. The novel is recently published in 2022. Since then, it has been the center of harsh criticism. Firstly, the Western reader says its title is provocative. The Last White Man title has a hidden threat to the eradication of white people. I would like to present my subjective views regarding its interpretations. The title apparently shows as if Mohsin Hamid wants the world free of white-skinned people, but it will be misleading interpretation. In my opinion, it means Anders will be the last white man who, after experiencing being brown man, will see people as humans rather than divide them into opposing dichotomy of us versus them. He is white inside but brown outside. Similarly, the Eastern people, here the focus is on brown people, are likely white-hearted but they have brown color outside. So color doesn't matter. Color doesn't define people as good or bad. In a sense, Mohsin Hamid promotes humanity rather than hatred. We will see in the next chapters what happened to Anders being a brown man. It is very easy to hate another man of color, but will you hate yourself if you are now inseparable part of brown people? Hey Anders, you know you are white, thus good, but How will you convince people with brown skin that you are honest and sophisticated? See you in the next chapter, buddy.